Now you see my left side up in that laptop. They're one good company that makes detectors. There's others out there. I always like to have a little backdrop in my videos if I can. About 3 o'clock in the morning here, boys. I got up sort of early this morning. There may be detector manufacturers, they have personnel that may be watching my YouTube channel. You never know. I know they look at some of the metal detecting forums and they're gathering information. There's no doubt about that. Competition is, you got to compete, you got to be paying attention to be successful. Making better products, getting customer feedback. So where is this industry? What would I like to see on a metal detector? Well, I'd like to see a metal detector be capable of holding 2 version software updates. Okay, I'd like to see that. And also, I think it would help during the testing phase of a detector. The person in the field can actually do actual comparisons. When they're testing the detector, it might help save some time. You wouldn't have to have 2 detectors necessarily, one with old, one with new, to see what the real deal is. You wouldn't be second guessing yourself as much. And the the actual purchasers of the equipment, they get to do the same thing. So what else would I like to see with multi-frequency metal detectors? I made a comment early on about this DS2. And I actually thought it was the first multi-frequency metal detector. Since it seems it's using different pairs of frequencies depending on the mode used. Well, wondering if in the future, what if a metal detector company allowed a detector to be user selectable within reason with a lower frequency and a higher frequency, where you get to go in there and you get to say, okay, I'd like to have the lower frequency, for example, transmit at 4 kilohertz, and the top frequency transmit at 35 kilohertz. And then maybe have another program you could put in your detector at 6 kilohertz for the lowest band and maybe 40 for the upper band. Maybe the users of these detectors, and along with feedback from other metal detectors, people would come up with, for example, deeper dimes like X for ID and depth, better than, another pair of frequencies. So yeah, actually have it where it's a programmable multi-frequency detector. That's what I would like to see. I think there's some benefits that could be gained. Instead of us being just dealt the hand we're dealt, like, okay, use this mode and adjust, Ferris limits or silencer, and then just have to run with it and say, oh, well, this program here, it's the best on lower conductors in iron, for example, or this one here's the best in higher conductors. So we give the user more latitude and allow these adjustments to be made. I think that's where I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see this. Question is, who's going to do it first? I won't say in this video. I've got an idea. Just looking at history and the use of widespan frequency with metal detectors. But I would like to see that. Well, anyway, that's just some thoughts I have. We'll see. Old sharpshooter, he's got a crystal ball. I try to look into it. I really think about this stuff, but I don't dwell on it. It's just when you're using detectors and it just sort of hits me. It's like, well, what's next? We've seen what's happened. Let's say in the last, I don't know, 10 years. We've seen what's happened in the last 10. Well, what's going to happen in the next 10? I hope you enjoyed.